Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is CiviPlus 101, Give Your Charity a Digital Power Up. Now, we actually ran a similar session last week, which was focused on membership organizations. And I think we even have a couple of people who are joining us again. So forgive us if there's some stuff you might have heard before, but we're excited to do this session focused on charities. So let's get going. So we'll just start off by introducing ourselves. So my name is Louise and I'm the Chief Growth Officer at CompuCo. So I'm working with all of our potential clients and some of our existing clients to work out their needs and to help make sure we've got the right package for them. And I will also mention that I actually have a background working for charities as a fundraiser. So I have used quite a few different CRMs before, and I really understand the difference a really good one can make. So excited to share more later. Over to you, Jack.
Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Obviously, Randy, we've met before, but yeah, it's good to see some new people here. So I am Jack McIndoe, the account manager at CompuCo, and I'm responsible for helping all of our sort of new clients from first point of contact all the way through to their kind of project end, being a kind of like pillar to lean on and answer any questions, run demonstrations. So yeah, that's me. Over to Alex.
Yep, and I'm Alex. I'm the marketing manager. So yeah, I do a lot of the organizational stuff for this, and I will be talking about a couple of sections today. So with that, I'll hand back over to Louise.
Okay, thanks guys. So you can see we've got a very simple agenda. So we will whiz through and we're just going to take you through, you know, how powering up with any CRM can be beneficial, talk to you about CiviPlus, our exciting platform, and then of course talk about how powering up with CiviPlus can really benefit your organization specifically. And we'll have time for some questions at the end. If you do have any questions, you can just put them in the chat and we will try to get to them. Oh, Alex has literally just written that. So that's perfectly coordinated. Okay, so just before we start, we're going to run a little poll just to find out a little bit about people who are joining us here today, so we know who we're talking to and kind of what level you're at in terms of your CRM knowledge, and if you have any knowledge about Civi CRM, which is what CiviPlus is based on. So if everyone could just please fill that in now, that would be great. And then we'll reveal the results. Well, now I suppose if everyone's done it, what should we give it a bit more time? Alex?
I think, yeah, so I think most people have answered. So I will end the poll now.
Great.
And yeah, we can share the results.
Fantastic. So good to see who's here and who's happy. Lots of happy people, which is good. And lots of knowledge about Civi CRM. So that's great. All right. Well, so that's good to know the starting point that we are beginning with. Okay, right. So let's start off. Well, we're going to still go over some basics. Why a CRM is really important. So we're going to just start by talking about a couple of points that we feel, you know, are kind of common digital shortfalls. If you are not happy with don't have a good CRM, or you don't feel comfortable with it, or maybe you don't have one at all. So first of all, you know, having data in multiple places can be really problematic and challenging, and of course can lead to inaccurate data as well. So hard to find what you're looking for, and when you find it, it might not be correct. Another challenge we've seen is too few tools to assist you with all the different things you want to do in your charity, or too many tools, making things overly complicated, and again, hard to find and easy to lead to duplication or mistakes. Too many manual tasks. Now, I know I certainly remember doing lots and lots of manual tasks, and actually as soon as I automated things, really my life changed, and the things I could achieve during the day were a lot more and a lot more interesting as well. Online payments. So, you know, in this day and age, in this world, having an easy online payment structure is really important, and having some options of different types of online payments, such as direct debits, can be really, really beneficial. And then, of course, the security issues, your backups, might be quite minimal if you've got lots of data in lots of different places, limited security as well. All of these things combined together can really, be quite meaningful when things go wrong. So that's kind of like our highlights of the kind of challenges that we see quite often. And then how a CRM solution can really benefit your organization. So starting off with centralized data, having everything in one place, easy to find and easy to manage, which also is perfect for collaboration. And this is something we'll talk a bit more about later, especially when you're working in a charity and you've got several staff members working with the same donor. You've got to be really careful about overlap and clashing and making too many asks or asking at the wrong time. So having everything in one place means you can really easily see who is speaking to who and when. Having all the tools you need under one roof, we feel this is a huge benefit, having everything at your fingertips and, of course, all in one place for one cost. So you really know where your costs are. Having online payments and direct debits, as we said before, is a huge benefit, giving your donors and supporters different kinds of options and an easy way to give to your charity. Is going to really just make that whole donor journey smooth and comfortable for them, so they'll be more likely to come back and donate again. Secure and built-in backup, so you know that everything is all in one place, it's secure, and if something did go wrong, then you've got a good backup. I have to tell you, in my flat last week, the internet was out for literally over 24 hours in the entire block where I live. So, these things do happen. And lastly, managing tasks with automation, as I said before, means you can get an awful lot more done. And actually, even though you're automating things, you're able to give your donors a more personalized experience, because you can actually send more communications that feel personal, but it actually doesn't take as much of your time. So it's a really nice balance there. And of course, recording all points of contact, as we said before, so you know exactly who's talking to which donor. Okay, so introducing CiviPlus. So let's start at the beginning. CiviCRM, as I'm sure you all know, is the #1 open source CRM for the not-for-profit sector. It's 17 years old, and it was built and designed specifically for non-profit, so specifically for charitable organizations. Oh, someone else is joining us. Great, fantastic. And it understands how you think and how you need to organize your data. So over 11,000 organizations are using it. It's downloaded about 700 times a month, and it's been translated into 40 languages. So a really international operation. So let's move to the next slide. The CiviPlus story. So as an open source platform, many organizations can go it alone. I mean, they can, it's open source. Anyone can just download and away you go. But there are a lot of features, and it can become quite complex with hosting and security and updates. So CompuCo decided to do something about it to make it simple, affordable, and a SaaS platform. So we have launched the most accessible version of CiviCRM yet, CiviPlus. So we will host it for you. It will be totally secure with us on a cloud infrastructure, and we will look after all of the security updates and all the behind the scenes technical aspects. And basically, CiviPlus combines all the innovations from around the Civi world, all the best features from the Civi world, with our CompuCo know-how. We've been working with Civi for over 10 years, so we really do know how it works. And we've put it all together to give you this best experience in one powerful, easy to use, all-in-one fundraising platform. So let's talk about CiviPlus. What is actually included? So it does an awful lot of things, and actually some things you may not need, and that's okay. You can easily just hide it from view, switch off that functionality, and it won't clutter up your dashboard. However, it's perfect for growing organizations, because actually things change over the years, and what you've got is a future-proof platform that no matter what direction your organization goes in, you've already got a CRM that can do everything you need it to do. So let's just whiz through some of these, and then we're going to go into our demo where we're going to deep dive into some of the areas in a bit more detail. So we'll start off by managing our contacts. We've got our core address book, but actually here, you've really got a key area of managing relationships, which we're going to show you a bit more later, which is really key in charities because there's often multiple types of relationships across donors. Taking payments online, we use the Stripe payment processor, and we're using Go Cardless for direct debit payments. We can track fundraising opportunities in lots of different ways, and we'll show you that later. There is an opportunity, an option to manage memberships if you have a membership program within your charity, and lots of people do have both. It's got a fantastic built-in events module where you can run CPD training, tracking and conferences and things like that. Of course, we can send mass emails. And again, we have an incredible built-in email builder, which we're going to show you later. Case management can be used for all sorts of different things, but if you are looking after cases or helping specific beneficiaries, you can track them there. And a task dashboard, which is essential for staff managing what they're doing. They can set themselves tasks, they can assign tasks to other members of staff, and that will pop up on their dashboard. Really useful feature. Of course, reporting and analytics, there's a lot of reporting functionality there. Surveys and petitions are really interesting, that you can build your own survey within Civi, send it out and collect all that data back. So that can be really interesting to gathering information about what your supporters are most interested in. Managing volunteers, really important for charities. I know every charity I worked in had lots of different types of volunteers. No two charities are the same. So really good to be able to do that. Tracking applications and grant management. If you are a grant giving organization, you can do that as well. And if you have anyone applying for anything within your organization, maybe training to be a volunteer helpline advisor or something, you know, you can do all of that in the system. Finance management, of course. And we do have a self-service portal, which is more focused if you have a members area, but it actually can be used for committees or certain types of donors, however you might want to use it. Again, if you don't need it, you can switch it off. But if in the future you decide to offer a membership program and you want a membership portal, it's already there and ready for you to use, all included in the one price. So that's the big overview. Now let's get into a little bit deeper. Contact management. Now this is really key for charities. So a 360-degree contact view. That means when I'm looking at a contact record, I can see at a glance every single interaction they've had with my organization. So you can see here, we've just got this little side tab where you can see a whole list of things for Daniela. So I'll be able to just jump around and see everything that she is connected to. Choosing your contact type is important. So you might have Daniela, who's an individual, but you might have a trust or a foundation, an organization. So you can choose what kind your contact type is, so you can differentiate. Managing and creating multiple relationships. Now, this is really good for charities. So you can have somebody who has a relationship with their partner. You want to know if they've got a husband or a wife. You might want to know who they work for, as they're a relationship with an employer. You might want to know if they're on your board of trustees. You might want to know if they are a mentor. There's so many different types of relationships you can create, and you can create ones that suit your organization. All the activities are logged, which is really great. So anybody who does anything, any change that happens, it's logged, and then you can see exactly who's done what at what time. And a really good feature here is different permissions for different users. And especially when you're working in fundraising where there might be something you want to keep confidential from other staff members, you might not want everyone to know who's donating what. So you can switch off the permissions for different users to have different access to different parts of the system. Of course, it's GDPR ready, so you don't need to worry about that. And you have this great ability to create custom fields, which is basically creating an extra field where you can record information about an interest area or whatever it might be, and you can choose that to fit your organization's needs. So I'm going to hand over to Jack now, who's going to take you on a tour all around the contact management.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So I will give you a quick whistle stop through a contact record, and I'll cover a few key areas, so some that Louise mentioned here. So you can see here that we are going with Tony Stark, who is my favourite Marvel character, because I'm a bit of a Marvel nerd. And that is an example of an individual contact record. So again, like Louise touched on, you can have a few different contact types within CiviPlus as well. So we can go down and see along the left-hand side all of the different data fields that are captured and relating to Tony Stark. But here you can see a quick glance of some information and contact information and some custom tags that you can also add as well. So you can add things like email addresses, and you can actually add numerous email addresses or set it to bulk or primary for mail-ins. You can do the same with their phone number. So they might have a work phone number or a personal phone number that you want to store and capture. If it was an organization, you can add their website, but as an individual, we can store their LinkedIn profile. You can add numerous addresses as well. You can see some information on the individual, such as gender and date of birth. So maybe you want to wish them happy birthday, which is very commonly done within fundraising organizations. You can also edit and store communication preferences as well. So this is really important to communicate with your donors in the correct way in which they prefer. And this can help you to actually get them onto direct debits and make them feel that they're having a custom experience with you as well. Going along to the bottom, you will see two examples that we've added for this demonstration. So interest of this particular donor, their favorite car, and also seating preferences, so if you ever run events as well. But these are just two examples of custom fields that we've added, and you can actually add those as a CiviPlus user, and it's just a way of you capturing different pieces of information on the donors that you're engaging with as well. Then we will jump up to relationships. So along the top, you can see that Tony is a former employee of the Avengers here. And if we actually went along the left-hand side, along these tabs, you could quickly jump to relationships. So you can see here that Tony's got two current relationships, one that he's an employee of Stark Industries and one that he's a partner of Pepper Potts. And you can actually add and customize all these relationships yourself. You can also add start and end date. So you can see here that Tony's also got an inactive relationship. And when the relationship hit the 15th of September, because he let you know that that's when he's leaving, the system actually moved that into inactive. So that just enables you to build up a really rich history of all the donors that you're engaging with as well. Now, if we go up to activities, so this is gives you a really nice clear list view of all of the different inbound and outbound activities that you're having with a particular donor. So you can see here that Tony made an online registration for an event. He also made a really generous contribution of £100,000. I'm sure we'd all like that. And you can also see two examples here of outbound activities. So these are things like meetings and phone calls that we actually did and performed with Tony. And if you want to click into here, you can see all the different details of the actual individual activity as well. Another cool thing you can do, which is not shown on this video, is you can actually delegate different activities to different members of the team. So maybe if you're off next week or you're off ill, you can actually delegate a follow-up call to a donor perhaps, and it'll alert someone within the team to do that for you. These are just two more examples of people clicking in and having a look at the information. Now, if we clicked into events, so if you're an organization that runs events, you can manage all your events through Civi, and I'll show you some more of that later on. But this just gives you, again, a list view of all the different events that Tony's registered to or signed up to, the fee level, the amount that they've paid for that event, perhaps if it's a paid event, the status. So this could be things like registered or non-attendee, perhaps. And you can also see their role. Here's where you click into contributions. So this would be particularly relevant to obviously fundraising organizations like yourselves. You can see a current year to date. You can see the completed number of contributions, the average amount per donation that they're making to your organization. And again, you can see a really easy to navigate list view of all the different individual donations that they've made to you as well. So a lot of these can be carried out online using web forms, which are integrated into Stripe, but you can also record manually contributions if people send cash in envelopes or they call and do a back transfer and stuff like that. And that's all for contact management. Now I'll hand back to you, Louise, if I can get out of full screen.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, so let's move on to mailing. So this is a really exciting part of CiviPlus. So we actually have a built-in drag and drop email builder. So you can really create and design your own really nice looking newsletters or event invitations or updates or whatever you want to do. And you can even design templates that can live within the system, and then it's really easy for any staff member to just, use that template, follow your structure and branding, and then away they go with whatever they want to send out. There's an image library stored within there, so you can have all of your pictures to hand, ready to drag and drop into the email that you want to send. And you can really easily segment your contacts to create your mailing list. And it's a really exciting way to really dig down and send a personalized experience or personalized communications to your donors by doing that. And then the great thing is that these mailing lists can actually be dynamically updated. So if you create a set of criteria for a mailing list and then somebody new is added to the CRM, if they fit that criteria, the list will automatically include them the next time you send something out. So, and again, the same way, if somebody changes criteria and they fall out of that list, it will automatically do that for you. We have mailing reports built in, all important. We want to see click-throughs, we want to see who's opened it, what's been really popular. And again, having all your data in one place is really key. Instead of having to use an external mailing platform, you've got it all under one roof, which means when you go to look at that person's contact record, you can see if they've opened the email or not, which is a really great tool if you're specifically phoning a donor and you want to know if they've at least opened the email. You can actually check in advance and see. So I'm going to hand over to Alex now. He's going to take us on a tour of mailing.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, I'm a great fan of sending out a lot of emails. I do that quite often. And I think one of the great things about CiviPlus is we have this drag and drop mail builder, and it's very simple. There's 3 steps. There's the first step, which is filling in some details. There's the design element, and then there's the scheduling options bit at the end. And just to clarify, because I know there's quite a lot of people with Civi already here, you can still do all the HTML thing, but today we're just showing off the drag and drop mailer because not everyone has this in their core Civi installation. So yeah, start off to say that you can put in a mailing name, which is just an internal name. Your external prospects, whoever you're mailing, won't see this. So just for your own reference for reports and stuff. Below that, you can add the from address, quite importantly, and say, if you have multiple emails, you can decide which one it goes out from. Recipients, of course, you can choose which groups get to see it. So you'll pre-make these groups and you can choose which ones do get it and which ones don't. And you can do logic around that, as well as see how many people that's going to go out to as an estimate. And then, of course, there's the subject line, the all important thing that you can do and add tokens to, in fact. And yeah, now we'll go into the design part of the email builder. And as you can see, we've got the basic template we're working with here. And once we open it up, we'll be able to see an email that we made a little bit earlier, just to give you a kind of flavor of the sort of thing that you might be able to make with the builder. It's got, put some colors on here. Again, it's keeping with the same sort of theme that we've been discussing so far. Just a quick look at it. And you can add and you can drag over or just press the add button and put all sorts of blocks onto the builder yourself. And you've got lots of preset ones there. Within the blocks, there's also quite a bit of customization. So you can turn off the title if you don't want that. You can get rid of the button. Up to you, really, what you're doing there. You can change where the image is. It all makes it very simple. Even change the image size if it doesn't quite fit with what you want. And you can put links in on the image and buttons, etc. In terms of the style, you can change the background color. And, lots of our clients obviously want to use their brand colors. So you have quite a lot of flexibility there with hex codes, if you're familiar with those, to change the colors up. More than that, you can also change the fonts. So we've got a list of preset ones you'll see here, but you can also add brand fonts. You can, of course, also change the color of the text and the size. So that's all flexible. And as Louise was saying a bit earlier, there's also an image gallery. So maybe there's an image that I like using a lot, and I can just kind of, once it's in the system, I can pluck it out of the gallery and put it on another email. So that makes it super simple if you're repeating the same image again and again. The final bit is just the testing bit. So as you can see, you can preview what the email looked like. You can send a test email to yourself, and you can also send a test email to the group. So maybe you have an internal review group who have to look at the emails first. And yeah, so that's just a quick tour at the drag and drop email builder. And afterwards, you can set up scheduling times. So, you don't need to just send it immediately. You can kind of wait and send it tomorrow, next week, whenever is appropriate. Back over to Louise.
Thank you. I was just unmuting myself. So thank you for that, Alex. We're going to move on to talk about event management, which is usually very important for most organizations, actually, whatever they're doing. So there's a great inbuilt event management system within CiviPlus. So you can create any size or any type of event within the system. It's your choice. You have the option to have free events and paid events. Really simple way to set that up, which we will show you in a minute. You can create online registration forms and, of course, online payment option as well, which we highly recommend. You can send automated emails to participants, which is really great. You can set everything up in advance. All your reminder emails, even your thank you emails can all be set up in advance and scheduled to go. So that's really one of those minimizing those manual tasks. You can track your registered and attended. I mean, tracking the registered is always key. I was always like, how many people have signed up today? How many today? So much easier if I can just go in and look at the report myself. VIP only events, you can create events that are only going to be sent out to certain groups of people. So perhaps you want to run an event just for your major donors or maybe just for your trustees. And then, of course, all the data is integrated to the contact record. So you can see exactly who's registered for events, who's attended events, who registered and then didn't turn up, which is also something you can phone and say, oh, I'm sorry you didn't make it. Is everything okay? All sorts of information can be stored and all in one place again. So it's really clear and easy to see exactly what's going on with everybody. So I'm going to hand over to Jack, who's going to take us through the event system.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So I'll give you now a demo of creating a new event from a template. So like Louise mentioned, you can really get custom with these. You can create all your forms, you can create all the information for an event, and I'll show you how to do that now. So here is me running an event from scratch. So I can decide the event type, whether it's an exhibition or a conference or just a usual event that's online, perhaps like a webinar. You can do default roles. So this is the role that people would be assigned when they sign up for the event. Of course, you'd give the event a title as well, so you can report on that and search within the system. You can give it a bit of a summary to let people know what the event is about and what they're signing up for as well. Of course, you can give it a start and end date and time, and you can actually add a maximum of participants as well. Another cool thing you can do is you can actually activate a wait list, which kicks off some really nice automation in the background, whereby if someone joins that wait list, the system will alert the person who is on a first come first serve basis. They will receive an email alerting them that spaces have become available and they can actually sign up for the event via the portal or via email perhaps. Along the bottom, you can add a number of different tags if you wish to, and then go on to the next step, which is event location. So you can either do this from a template, or if you're running a new event within a new space, you can fill out all the details and that will just alert the donors or members where the event is. Then this is where you can get clever with it. So you can either do free or paid events like Louise mentioned. So you just toggle between these two buttons here to decide which one you want to run. You can of course select your currency as well. So Randy, I know you're in the States, so you do dollars rather than Great British pounds. You can decide which payment processor you wish to use if you do wish to use one. And you can actually enable pay later options and give donors the option to pay later. Of course, would never recommend that because you have to do a lot of chasing via the phone to get people to pay, and it's not particularly fun. You can give them pay later instructions in these boxes. So a phone number perhaps to give a call to. Then if you go down a little bit, you can actually add the event fee, and this will update the record in the system, so you'll know what the donor has paid for. So it'll be an event fee rather than a donation perhaps. And you can actually create financial types as well. Here is where you would create all the different fee labels. So that's just, in essence, you creating different ticket types as well. And you can decide which one the default one is as well. And you can do some early bird discounts just to encourage sign-ups quicker and give people a nice discount, because everyone loves discounts. Then we go on to the next stage. So this is where you would activate online registration if you do wish to do so. So this is in essence where you would create all your registration forms to allow donors to actually sign up for the event. So you can give it a start and end date for online registration. You can set some duplication rules. And this is where you create all the different forms and displays that people would see when they're actually filling in the forms as well. So there's a concept in Civi, as you probably all know, called profiles. And this is just, in essence, a collection of fields that a donor can fill in, and then it'll populate a form and it will let us know. So you can do things like first name, surname, dietary requirements, perhaps. Accessibility is a very common one that people use as well. And you can actually store templates of these profiles, so you don't have to do it manually every single time as well. Then you create the confirmation screen and the thank you screen. And again, you can do some nice automation here with confirmation emails along the bottom. And you can decide who the recipient would see it's from, similar to in Mosaico. It just saves you doing a chaser follow-up. It can actually do it for you. Again, there's some really nice automation here with scheduled reminders. So we can actually book in, while we're creating the event, emails to go out to everyone that's signed up. So we can decide who we want to receive the email, and we can actually decide the time on when they would receive that. So you can get really granular here. You can do hours and days before, minutes before the event perhaps, or maybe you want to do one after as well. So you can send a survey out to all the people that attended after the event, and that'll go out automatically. And again, you can decide the email that they'd receive that from as well. Cool thing you can do as well, you can store templates. So you don't actually have to drag and drop and add all different tokens and HTML fields. You can just use a template that you've used before, and that'll automatically populate this email, and then it'll automatically go out off the back of the event as well. And then I will stop here for reminders, and I'll hand back to Louise.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, so after events, we're going to move to donor management, which of course is all important. So the key features here, the first thing is about recording donations clearly. So you can really look at a contact record, look at a donor and see exactly what donations they've made, when they made it, how they made it, and to be honest, or if they've made a pledge and they've not yet paid it as well. That's really important to track, certainly when you are doing, pledge events and things like that. Another really important part is about defining core and restricted funds. So basically being able to track what money is coming in that is just for your general pot, and if any money is coming in that is specifically for a type of campaign or a specific type of donation for an area of work. Maybe you're an international organization and someone wants to give specifically to projects in one country, so many different ways of having different kinds of restricted funds, and really easy to set that all up and manage it within CiviPlus. Direct debit giving, of course, is really something that all fundraisers dream of, people setting up amazing direct debits and the money just coming in without you having to do much for it. So really important to have that functionality. Automated thank you receipts, which are really great. And, you can tweak these and tailor them specific to if someone's given to a specific campaign. Maybe you're fundraising to build a children's playground somewhere. And then if someone donates to that campaign, you can set up a thank you receipt that relates to that project and add some more information, which is really great. And again, here, groups for tailored communication. So putting people together who've donated either at a certain level or for a certain type of project. You can group them together into mailing lists, as we said before, segmenting those contacts and donors, and then really sending tailored communication. So focusing that around types of donations is really great. Specifically also, getting, direct debit donations, increasing donations, all sorts of different things. And we'll be running different sessions on about how to make the most of your database, helping you with fundraising and communications. And we'll be doing some more webinars on that in the future. We have online gift aid declarations, which are, really important for everybody and really easy to record, store them in your system, and then also send that information to HMRC. And then online donation forms. You can see an example form we have here. And I think Jack is going to show us another example and really talk us through that online donation form template. So you can create these forms and send them to your donors. Sorry, yes.
Where is this one?
Right, we're just going to find the right video. If you just give us one moment. While we're doing that, I'm just going to look at some of the questions that have been coming in on the side. Let me see here. How do you track a fundraising event such as the London Marathon? Yeah, so if you have a specific donor who is raising money, it does depend on how they're raising their money, but you can set up a campaign for them within the system, set up a donation form for them that's attached to their fundraising campaign, and it will track it in that way. Or if they're also collecting offline donations, you can set them up again with a specific campaign code, so that when someone's sending a donation in, you can record it manually if needs be, or as part of that campaign if they've used the form. I don't know, some people may be sending in checks, I don't know, it depends. There are some old-fashioned ways of doing things still, but we can talk in more detail about that maybe offline. Let me see. Oh, are we ready to go?
Can you all see that CiviPlus donation form?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what the technical difficulty was there. So just kind of touching on, before I jump into it, what Louise mentioned, you have full control over these web forms. So if you have a particular process that you take your donors through, you can see here we've created a 5-step process, but you could do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. You can customize it as much as you wish, and you can customize as well all of the text that you present to your donors, just to encourage them and give them a bit more information on what they're donating to as well. So I'll just jump you into the form and I'll run you through it now. So this is the user experience that a donor would get on your website, and we'd obviously redirect them to this web form using CiviPlus. So here's where the donor would populate all these fields, again, which you can customize, and then they would go through this 5-step process. So this is just giving basic information. Then we go through to the next phase. So we've added this step just to encourage donors to sign up for your mailing list, which is obviously crucial in building a good database. So they can opt in and out of that. That will then update the back end of Civi and create a new mailing list and add them to that as well. Here is where they make the payment, so they can decide how much money they'd like to donate to your organization, and they can actually do one-off or recurring donations, which would obviously be very great because then you don't have to chase them for donations. Here is where they would specify if they're eligible for gift aid, and that would then create a gift aid declaration in the back end of CiviPlus. And then when you go to do your exporting of all the donations that you've received, you would know that this donation is eligible for gift aid. And then, like Louise mentioned earlier, you could send that off to HMRC. Here is where they input all of their card information as well, and their billing addresses. So I'll populate for you here. And there is some filter lists that you can include to make it a bit easier for their experience as well. Then they would go through to the last stage where they'd actually review the donation here. So they can actually review all the information that they've put in just to make sure that everything's right. They go down to the bottom of the form and then they'd click submit. That takes them to the last little page, which is just a thank you for your donation. And then they could click back to the form or back to your website if that's where you want to redirect them to. So off the back of that, which I'll show you later on, there would be a donation created within CiviPlus and a gift aid declaration as well. And we'll be able to show you that after Louise talks you through the next slide.
Thank you, Jack. So yes, so next we're just going to talk about major donor tracking, which is really important. I think, you know, for most organizations, whatever major donors mean to you. So what we can do here is create bespoke pipeline processes. So however you want to think about approaching, cultivating, prospecting, and you know, trying to acquire major donors, you can create the stages in a pipeline and then basically track where you are at each stage, and we'll show you a demonstration of that in just a minute. You can also add soft credit donations to other contacts, which is, again, really important when it comes to major donors, because maybe there's a major donor giving as a family. It's a family gift. It comes from a family trust. So you just want to make sure if they've given a family gift that everyone else who is in that family has got a soft credit. So you don't then go tapping up somebody's son or daughter or husband or wife when actually there's already been a family gift given. And this is also relevant if you have people who are part of trusts or foundations, and actually their gift is really through the foundation or the trust, but it really counts as their gift. So again, you want to make sure they're linked as a soft credit, so you're not asking the same person twice and they're getting offended because they already gave you loads of money through their foundation. So tracking activities and tasks is super important. You want to know if you've had an interaction with a major donor. You want to know if somebody else had an interaction with a major donor. Maybe they turned up at a webinar that somebody else was running, or you know, some other interaction that they've had. So you can track all of that together so you can see exactly what's going on at any one time. There's also the option to upload files. So if you've put a proposal together for a major donor, maybe there's a specific project that they want to fund, you want to record what you've shared with them, or if perhaps you need to apply to a foundation, there's an application process, you want to store that application within that prospect lead so you know exactly what's been sent in. And then, of course, tracking timelines and deadlines when it comes to applications for funds from trusts and foundations. You know, if there's any big deadlines you need to know about, you want them flashing up at you and you want to know exactly what's going on at what time. And recording all of the people involved. Like I feel like I keep saying this, but from my experience, it's one of the biggest challenges when you've got multiple members of staff working with the same donor, major donor specifically, across multiple areas. Maybe that major donor is on one of your committees, so a different member of staff is working with them in that way, and they have an opportunity to, you know, maybe ask them about their gift, or would they like to give, or find out that, oh, they've just said they've got a real interest in medical research. Great, I better tell the major donor fundraiser about this. And I think that it depends the size of your organization as well. If you have a dedicated major donor fundraiser, they're going to want to know if you're talking to their donors. And especially also as a chief executive, you know, you've got to really feel like you're up to date with everything going on with your major donors. So really quickly, you can just click into their record and see everything that's going on with them, rather than having to ask members of staff, which I think is also really important to have that at your fingertips at that level. So I'm now going to hand over to Alex, who is going to take us through a pipeline example.
Yeah, and so as we've said, this is the major donor pipeline. Of course, you can use, you know, the pipeline for all sorts of things. You could use it a similar pipeline for volunteer management or other types of applications. So, you know, it's not just limited to this. We're just focusing on this because obviously it's a very important theme for yeah, if we can get it to stay on the video. But yeah, anyway, if you look along the top of the screen right now, you can see that we're on the dashboard and we have all the different stages that you might have in your process for your major donors. You know, start off at inquiry, you go through the meetings, have proposals, and then you eventually, hopefully come out successful. You know, not everyone will be successful, we hope most of them would be. So having had a look at that, you can also see that we can also see some of the newer prospects on this dashboard. We can have a look at the calendar, which will say here we've got a phone call coming up, so you can have a look at what's coming up ahead for your major donors. You can also have a look and see what activities are coming up this week, or you can filter it by month as well. But right now I'm going to have a look at proposals here. So like who's in proposal stage right now. Got a lot of good filtering you can use at the top. So I also wanted to see who was in the first meeting phase, and I can add them into this view now. So you've got 2 different people. And on the view here, you can see a lot of different details about all the opportunity around this major donor. You can see the money involved. You can see all the calendar, the activities. Like on the contact record, you can see all of the activities related to this case. You can see here all the different people involved in the case. And here you can involve any files that you need to upload. So I don't know, like an invoice or something like that you want to keep record of. You can also add any activities super easily there. You could add a timeline if you want to add, a timeline of activities to make it easier for yourself. And ultimately, if you did want to add some automation around it, then that's also something that you can set up behind the scenes to just take care of some of the manual processes for yourself. And yeah, major donors, massive topic, which we'll be talking about. Well, at the end of this webinar, we'll be saying there's the next webinar, you'll see fundraising is going to be about that, but we'll talk more about that at the end.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, we're going to move on to reporting, all important reporting. So we have a very comprehensive and easy to use reporting already built into CiviPlus with over 100 report templates already set up. But of course, you can create your own reports as well. We have any custom field can be searched and reporting on. So if you actually do create a field, which is like people who are interested in medical research, for example, you can build a report based on that. And the way you can do that is because we have advanced search functionality to build complex queries. So you could be like all of the donors who've given over this amount, who live in this area, who are interested in medical research. So you can really like, if you've got a specific project, you can really like tailor your communications or tailor your event and just invite those people, whatever it may be. So you can really do so much with this. And then of course, you can also place any key reports on your dashboard. So as you open up your CiviPlus, you can see straight away exactly what you want to see. So for me, it would be who has registered for the event that I've sent out and how many donations have we got in to date this year or this month, whatever it may be. You can have them right in front of you. So anyway, so we're not going to go into all that, reporting stuff right now, just, to save on time. I think everyone knows what reports look like, and some people are very excited by them. But instead, we will move on and just give a little summary of what we believe are the top 7 power-ups that CiviPlus can give your organization. So starting off with a single source of truth of data, as we've said, having all your data in one place, very clearly, giving you all the information you need to hand and no chances of mistakes or errors or duplications. Automating manual tasks. I think it's sometimes very hard, especially if you're working with donors, to kind of let go and feel comfortable setting up automations that seem like they're personal, because you can personalize these automations using tokens that Alex showed you before. You can insert their name, you can make it personal in terms of an event they've attended or a project they've supported. And it really does free up so much more of your time and energy to cultivate new donors and do other things as well. Personalizing the donor experience is what I'm talking about, using those segments, creating your groups, differentiating between different donor levels and tailoring your communications for the right kind of donor, the right areas of interest, whatever it may be. It's super easy to do with an amazing CRM. Easy online donations, as we've said, make it easy for your donors to give you money. I mean, that's what we all want, basically. So obviously having the direct debit option is great, and clear and easy forms to follow as well that all link immediately to that contact record. Insightful reporting, as we didn't go into it right now, we didn't have time, but looking at what donors have given by this time of year, last year, looking at your lapsed donors, looking at donors who give over a certain amount and then suddenly drop down. All of that is included. And of course, the clear donation tracking, you know, what projects, what is, you know, core funds and what is project fund specific. If you have a target for a certain project, you need to raise X thousands of pounds to build, you know, a new wing somewhere. You know, you want to see if you're on track for that, and you want to know all the money that's coming in specifically for that project. And then the last thing is that 360 view of the donor interaction. So we know that every single thing that is going on with that donor, so you can really, they feel like you know them and you feel like you know what's going on too. Okay, now we can go to the next slide. We're getting excited here. Next steps. So what are the next steps? First of all, I suppose most of you might be thinking, well, what does CiviPlus cost? Now we have a flexible pricing structure. We have two pricing structures. One is contact-based, where the price is really tiered by the number of contacts that you want to record on your database. So this is really good for growing organizations. So just to give you an example, the starting tier is £50 plus VAT per month, which includes up to 1,000 contacts and up to 5 users. And then we have a user-based tier, which is really priced by the number of users in your organization, which is really good for small organizations who have really big contact lists, because the price there is £65 plus VAT per user per month, but it includes unlimited contacts. Now, all of our pricing packages offer you access to all of the areas of CiviPlus, even if you don't need them just yet. This is about future-proofing for your organization, and all of the full pricing tables can be found on our website. And we just want to make a reference here that we do have a CiviPlus partner program. So if you are somebody who is maybe not an organization or a charity, but you are a consultant and you work with charities and organizations, we have a partner program with different levels where you can introduce us to a client and receive a referral fee. You can refer us to a client and take them on a bit more of the journey, and then also receive a different referral fee. Or you can be a reseller where you can actually do all of the selling and implementing and just get CiviPlus from us. So if anyone would like to talk about the partner program, we'd be really open to having those discussions with you too. And so really, we just want to talk to you. We'd love to talk to you. So the thing is, everyone's got different needs. Every charity is different. I can see in the list of questions that's been going by, you know, everyone's got really specific needs to their organization. So we'd love to set up a personalized demo for you. So we will be in touch after this webinar. We will be sending a video of this recording, and then you can set up a meeting if you'd like to chat more. And we just want to let you know about our next webinar that's coming up, which is Your Future Major Donors Are Closer Than You Think. So we'll be taking a deep dive into how you can really look for and cultivate major donors within your existing contact list, or find ways to reach out beyond your contact list, all centered around having a really strong CRM to support you with all of that work. So that will be on Thursday, October the 20th, same time as today. And we really hope to see some of you there as well. So I think that's everything from us. We are just on time, so we have a couple of minutes for any other questions. If anyone would like to ask anything, I will open up the floor. Maybe we'll stop sharing the screen as well so we can all see each other.
I would like to do so.
If anyone, I mean, if you don't have a question, if you have any comments, thoughts, we'd love to hear from you, even just to tell us where you are in the world or what kind of an organization you work for. It's always interesting to learn what everyone's up to.
Silence.
My name is Jonathan. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much for this information session. So we've been using CV, the normal CV, and we're hoping that this looks so interesting. We're hoping that our transition will be seamless, because we're hoping to get sustainable funding or donations. So we're hoping to try it soon. Thank you.
Fantastic. That's great to hear from you. And where are you based? Where are you from?
I'm based in Kisumu in Kenya. with the youth organization, our volunteers only youth organization. We're having all the struggles of a startup organization, and hoping to leverage on CiviPlus.
That's really interesting. We're currently speaking to IREX at the moment that do a Kenyan K-Play project. So yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but that's really interesting.
Heard about them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, it's good to hear. It's interesting.
Well, we definitely look forward to speaking with you more after this. So thank you for joining us and for sharing. Was somebody else also jumping in, and there was a clash? Was that?
I think it was me, Louise. Actually.
Or was it you? Okay. Well, if anyone else wants to share, it'd be lovely to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll say thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to speaking with you all more soon, and hopefully seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Have a good day.